meeting of the School Board of Trustees, subject to the open meeting law, is being recorded in accordance with sections 2-2-301, 2-3-202, 2-3-203, and 2-3-214 Montana Code annotations. All members of the board, staff, and public in attendance are advised that the public portions of the meeting will be recorded in both an audio and video format. Cameras and recording devices are placed throughout the meeting room to complete these recordings. Everyone in attendance is reminded to honor basic rules of decorum during the meeting and guidance associated with providing public comments as stated in Policy 1420F. By remaining in the meeting, those present consent to being recorded and displayed in the footage that will be posted on the school district's website. Welcome everybody. There'll be an opportunity for community comments on non-agenda items at the end. Start with superintendent admin reports.
Okay, so I did not have the principals submit a report for the month since they're doing their handbook changes in here. So we just have the superintendent report. I will try to take the feedback that I received last year from our new board members and not go quite as fast as I normally do. So it was a lot, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. And if you have questions as we go, don't hesitate to ask. Okay, so superintendent report. To start with, you'll have the enrollment report per month, and you can see we started the year in August at 1,240 students, and we ended the year at 1,160 students, so we lost 80 students throughout the year. And that is actually, I mean, that's starting to have a pretty significant impact on the budget. Most of what we're finding is
homeschooling?
they're going to online learning. Yep. So, and for various reasons. I'll keep my opinions to myself though. School. It was. I know it was. Strategic plan, graduate profile, OPI accreditation, professional development plan, Ed for all. You have to have those in your board meetings now, so I include a section for that. There's not always a lot to report on that. Labor management. So once a month we have a labor management committee that meets. They'll talk about issues that the teachers have, or the staff has, or that the administration has that's going on with the staff, and they try to resolve those issues at those meetings, so it doesn't get to like where they file a grievance. So we did not meet in May. They'll probably fire those back up again in September. Buildings and grounds, central school. So this is basically what's kind of gone on throughout the year. The particle board replacement was supposed to be done in the spring. It has not. John Twinkie from Portland said that they would get to that this summer. We had to snake the sewer lines earlier this year. That's complete. And the intercom and bell system replacement is starting the week of, do you know, Nathan?
It started last week.
Last week, good, so I had it right, June 1st through the 5th. High school, the roof of the gym has been replaced. If you didn't know, last year it blew off, the whole thing. Like it sounds really dramatic, it actually all blew off. All the HVAC back parts for replacing existing units have been ordered, that's done. Some of the items for the project will be subject to weather, including this one at the very bottom. So you have the replaced section of the roof that the gym roof landed on. That was supposed to start last week. Dexter called me. He was worried about the weather because it would be opened up. We'd probably have a bunch of water in the school. So they're gonna try to set it up for a later date, potentially this week or next week. Middle school, there's a break in the main water line. That seemed to be done, and then we had issues with the sprinkler lines, but it seems like that's been fixed as well. We got a bill for that. And the hot water heater was replaced at the same time. West side, there's some minor cement work on the playground and the front sidewalk.
Is that just we're waiting for weather to cooperate, or what? That's been on there forever.
Which one?
The cement work.
They just start those in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah, they normally won't do them during the school year, so it's just a matter of coordinating schedules now. Admin, HVAC, with Agra and Core, that is done. The parts have been ordered and the new thermostats have been installed. And then all schools, I would just make sure that you make a note to ask about the route bus that we purchased this last year. It's supposed to be in December or January. School safety, nothing new to report. There were no threat assessments. NEMAS didn't meet. NEMAS is the organization the superintendent belongs to. It's a Northeast regional group, and we meet once a month and discuss things that are going on. Insurance committee, after moving to the State Bridge Alliance Insurance Program, the district will need to assess the need to the number of meetings that this committee has throughout the year. We'll likely want to stay with Bridge for at least 3 years. This committee is in the master agreement, but again, the function of the committee should evolve with changing to the state insurance pool. There's not going to be a lot of decisions they're going to be able to make for probably 3 to 5 years. So that committee is probably not going to be as active as it normally is. And then you can see the openings. keeping in mind, some of these have to be on here, because if we hire a teacher that doesn't have a Montana teacher certification, they can get one through a class 5 or an emergency, licensure. We have to show that we're still advertising for those positions if we have those in the district. So that's why you're looking like, we don't have any elementary teacher openings. Special ed we do. CTE, we hired for that. That'll be actually in this consent agenda. And then you can see same with school psych. We'll continue to look for a school psychologist throughout the year.
Does a CTE teacher have Montana certification?
She will.
Canada. Okay.
Yep.
And then what about, are we replacing the middle school tech teacher?
I would not, for budget reasons, because that would come out of the elementary, and Leif Halverson and Randy Robinson both have their endorsement in that. So we'll just figure out through the state what the requirements are and meet those through that.
And that's gonna be okay to
Yep.
fill with the, okay.
Yep. Transfers Warren Clark, traffic education teacher to traffic education program director. Linda Knudsen, halftime K1 teacher to halftime halftime K1 teacher and halftime Title A to Westside Special Ed teacher. Resignations, Nicole Munson, Westside secretary, Jen McGann, middle school custodian, Marie Holler, middle school tech teacher. Okay, we typically go through this a little bit, and we'll go through this stuff a little bit faster. So meeting minutes, you'll have those right away. Typically it helps to look through those ahead, because it takes a long time to read through those if you haven't. And we had 2 meetings in May. We had the regular and we had the reorganization. Then we get into the financial reports. I think it would be best, instead of asking a bunch of questions about these tonight, is Tracy was going to do a kind of a little, I don't know, training on school finance, just to help you understand these numbers. Because it would take, I'm not even gonna be able to explain it well enough for you to understand it tonight. Unless Nikki, you wanna take a stab at it?
The report.
We're missing reports too. So.
Yeah, this is just the listing of what the bills they paid.
Right. So if you look on page 11, that would be our county investments. We get a portion of that. Page 12 is everything that we paid for, like anything we wrote a check for. Well, even charged credit cards, right? I think almost all of them are charged.
Credit cards are paid down there, yeah. And the next one is the ASB report with the balances of in each fund.
Yep, so ASB is your associated student body accounts. Yeah, so these are supposed to be run by student organizations, and then they have an advisor that they're supposed to be checks and balances with those. You have something for almost everything. Then you can see where they spent money, starting on page 19, and then on page 21. You'll see these occasionally, so for instance on that one, ASB account 212, which is middle school publications, is paying and crediting. ASB account 204, which is middle school MBI and MTSS, that just came out of the wrong account when they ordered it. Same thing on page 22, it's going from the middle school store to middle school MBI MTSS, because it should have come out of the store. 23, same thing. Central school MBI and MTSS had to pay middle school MBI and MTSS. I know who pays attention to the middle school account, so I can see why those didn't get missed. And they just had to refund them for assembly gifts. Page 24, continuing ed grant. So each year, the school does have a grant for teachers up to $1,000 a credit. Is that right?
Yes.
Up to
$100 a credit.
$100 a credit up to $1,000.
Up to 10 credits.
And then, if we don't use that, that person, if they take extra classes, they can technically start taking from, because we give out 5 of those. So.
This is the only one we're giving out, right?
She's the only one that applied. Yep. So I will reach out to her and let her know if she's taking extra classes next year, she can apply for extra money out of that fund.
Is that normal to only have one person apply?
No, we normally have about 8, 9.
With it being a continuing ed grant now, though, they can apply, they can keep applying through the year. It's just that it can't start till after the summer.
Oh, so a new applicant could apply.
They could, yeah.
And then after that point, it's first come, first served.
Starting on page 28. That is the contract for our auditors. It went gone up from $20,000 to $30,000. I did get a hold of Glendive, and they're paying over $50,000 for theirs. It's tough to find these, and the firm that we use does a really good job. We have a really good relationship with them. I wouldn't recommend not going with them just because of that.
Is this the same company that we sat with, like I
Yep.
came in?
Next contract on page 30. This is just to give you an idea of where we were at before. So this is from the 23-24 school year. That was a 3-year contract, and we were locked in at $88,256 a year. So this is our, not liability, it is our workers' comp insurance. And then if you go to page 34, that is what we'll actually be paying now. So it's going down by about $200 a year. Those will now be 1-year contracts. And then in this blue folder, and I have information on this, this is our property and liability insurance contract. I didn't get it until late Thursday, so it didn't make it into the packet, but if you wanna take a look at that, I have that available to you. So that is all of the items, and I can start reading the consent agenda whenever you're ready. Go ahead. Good, okay. Approval of minutes. All recorded board meeting minutes must be reviewed and approved at the following board meeting. As you review the meeting minutes, please make note of any additions or changes that need to be made. I recommend to approve the board meeting minutes for the board meetings on 5/18/2026 with any noted necessary agreed upon changes. So basically, sorry, I should explain the consent agenda really fast. All of this, so everything that I just went through goes into one, I make an approval for all of it, and then you approve the whole thing. And then after that, we'll do individual items, just line by line. So this is kind of just, I hate to say the tedious things, but this is the thing, but you're going to approve these things. Warrants and claims in accordance with board policy 7326, all financial obligations and disbursements must be properly documented. The documentation must specifically describe the goods, services acquired and the proper budget item for appropriation. I recommend to approve all claims, payments, and cancellations as presented. ASB accounts and transfers in accordance with board policy 7425. The Board of Trustees should conduct a monthly review of the ASB account balances reported by the Deputy Fund Custodian. Recommend to approve ASB balances, transfers, payments, combined listed accounts and voided checks as presented above. 26-27 continuing ed grants. The master agreement between the board and SEA provides that the district will allocate 5 continuing education grants up to a maximum of $1,000 each. Based upon review and ranking of the submitted applications by all administrators, the following individuals are recommended for receipt of a continuing education grant at $100 per semester credit hour up to $1,000 for the 26-27 fiscal year. Wanda Benson, I recommend to approve the continuing education grant recipient for the 26-27 school year. 25-26 budget spending authorization. Each year the trustees must grant approval for the district clerk to spend the remainder of the general fund as needed. We have a few projects and programs that we'd like to pay out for the 25-26 budget. Recommend to approve to give Tracy Click the authority to spend the remainder of the 25-26 budget as necessary. 25-26 compensated absence fund transfer. State law provides for the school district to maintain a compensated absence account to pay for sick and annual leave expenses when a classified employee or administrator leave the district. The law limits the cash balance in the account to 30% of the estimated liability of sick and annual leave expenses. State regulations allow the district to transfer year-end general fund monies in the compensated absence fund if the budget and cash are available. I recommend to authorize the district clerk to transfer an amount not to exceed the 30% allowed by law from the elementary and or high school general funds into the respective compensated absence fund, provided funds are available. ASB end of year account closure and transfer participation fees for 25-26. At year end, trustees authorize the annual transfer of funds earned by various student ASB groups from the proceeds earned in Talon, as well as an annual transfer of high school participation fees as per board policy 7425. 50% of the athletic fund with the remaining 50% dispersed to recognize student groups requiring payment of participation fee is listed in the high school handbook based on student paid members. In June, we also canceled the graduating class ASB account and transferred the money to the district alumni account. This money can be used for class memorials, for passing alumni, and various other requests. We also opened a new account for the incoming 6th grade class to enable them to purchase required materials throughout their time with Sidney Public Schools. I recommend to approve the transfer of talent proceeds to the appropriate student groups who worked events in 25-26 and approve the transfer of 25-26 high school participation fees per board policy 7425 and cancel ASB 415 class of 26 account and transfer the remaining funds to the district alumni account and open an ASB account for the graduating class of 2033. That is Foster's class.
What's
Barrett's
Talon?
class.
What's that?
What's Talon?
It's our concessions.
Concessions.
So when they work concession groups, they get a portion of whatever. 2026, 2027 Strom and Associates contract. No, this one is different. No, this is our auditing one.
Mhm.
So I explained this one. This is gonna be a 3-year, contract. It went up by $10,000, so it went from about 20,000 to about 30,000. We've had a really good relationship with them. Like I said, I'm sure other schools are paying for more, and you can't really find many in the state. So I recommend to approve the contract with Strom and Associates for the 26-27 school year. MSGIA insurance renewal. This would be our workers' comp, insurance. So MSGIA contracts with MTSBA to administer its program and act as the pool's third-party administrator. They provide free on-site safety trainings for all building custodians. Our entire staff also has access to hundreds of free safety videos that can be used for renewable units towards updating the Montana teacher certifications. The last contract that we signed with MSGIA, we paid $88,256. The cost for the coverage for the 26-27 school year would be $88,035. So with the cost being less, it makes sense to continue to utilize MSGIA for workers' compensation claims and all other services they provide. Recommend to approve the contract with MSGIA for workers' compensation insurance. MSPLIP insurance renewal. This is our liability. That group is our liability, the company that we utilize for property and liability insurance. They cover building claims, offer cybersecurity insurance, provide lawyers for high-risk investigations and many other things. This year we've had a number of claims due to unforeseen weather and staff situations. They're great to work with. Our contractors have communicated to me that they've had no issues in working with MSPLIP. In 24, we paid $230,824. This year our premiums were $226,022. The proposal for the 26-27 school year is $225,248. I cannot believe that went down if you look at the numbers, but it did, so that's great. We recommend to approve the contract with MSPLIP for the 26-27 school year. New hires, Davenberry Middle School custodian, Aaron Connell, Central School summer custodian, Deborah Lang, Westside Special Ed Aide, Emma Keenan, Westside Special Ed Aide, Nettie Deneau, High School VOAG teacher, Heather Prevost, Central School Title Aide, Savannah Anderson, Middle School girls basketball coach and elementary girls basketball coach. And then Bree Mullen would be middle school girls basketball coach and elementary girls basketball coach. Recommend to approve the employment of the recommended hires for the 26-27 school year, pending reference and background checks. That is the consent agenda.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move.
I have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we'll get into the handbook changes now, so we're moving on to the discussion action agenda. So each year the principals will come to the board with any changes to their handbooks that they wanna make. Some years there's controversial things and some years there's really not a lot. This year there's not a ton to add. So Westside, we'll go through these on page 1. The secretaries aren't hired yet, so their names aren't in there. Page 3, she updated important dates for the new year, so anything that obviously your dates are gonna change based off what you got going on, and she has those in there. Page 13, conflict resolution program. It's explaining the character strong, which is what they use for the counselors to work with their students. The counselors still go into the classrooms at that age, and they try to teach kids like emotional coping skills and just different skills to get them through social situations. Field trips, this one changed in Central's and Westside. It's giving the building principal the authority to make final determination of eligibility to attend field trips for students or to request that parents ride along for safety reasons.
With
Yes.
I have to have a background check, fingerprints if a parent is on.
Yep. Well,
No, they're not.
they'd be supervised all the time. They can't have unsupervised contact time with students, so I don't think I'm.
If
Yeah,
we
when I
have
asked
time,
about
we
that-
do, they do.
Right, huh?
When I asked about that for a music festival, the bus driver was considered the supervisor with their
Cause we had to
background
take
check.
just one person.
Oh.
Yeah,
'Cause-
Okay, yeah, I mean, I know that all changes here, so I didn't
Yeah.
wanna get us in a thing where a principal's
Right.
making a last minute thing on a, Tuesday afternoon and,
Right,
and then we get in trouble because we don't have.
cause we were worried about that on
yes,
that
we
trip.
were.
Yeah.
And then it ended up other teachers were on there too, so it wasn't. it
Okay,
wasn't
so as long as
just that
there's one,
Yep,
parent.
somebody that's gone through a background check,
Okay.
could be the head supervisor, and that person does not get any one-on-one, non-supervised time with
yeah,
students.
like I said, just wanna make sure.
Yep,
I know
that's a
things
good
change.
question. Lunch prices, so we had to increase those last year. I would recommend that you increase those again this year, just a little bit, but a small increment, so it's not so impactful on families. On page 21, recess time changes, those are just general scheduling things. Page 22, equal education and employment, the last sentence, inquiries or complaints regarding discrimination should be directed to the school principal. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this looks like centrals now. She didn't label it. Okay. Same thing, meals were updated, under sexual harassment, they're taking Karen Polari's name out for the title coordinator position. We'll probably have our building principals take on that role. We had a specific Title IX coordinator, but I do think the way that process works, it would make more sense to have your building principals do it. Sports participation, she added 4th grade since we approved that at the last meeting. The participation fees, this is maybe not something that, I think it's something you might wanna talk about, but those seem really high for the younger kids, but, so to add the 4th grade portion, 5th grade students who wish to participate in choir and basketball will need to pay a participation fee that costs us $70 per student. And we were gonna talk about if we wanted to change that, we never got around to that, but that's something that can still happen.
If we're gonna meet again, that'd still give them time
Yep.
to print all these,
Yep.
so we can just exclude that
Yeah,
portion.
I think as long as we have these approved by July 1st, we should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
Right.
But for 4th and 5th graders, the only thing they participate in that needs a fee is basketball, right?
Yeah.
Because football is AAU.
Choir.
inquire.
And choir.
They have a 4th and 5th grade extra.
Honor
curricular
choir. Right?
Well,
Right. There was like 4 or 5
Yeah.
kids in
I
that.
mean, the thing is, 5th can play up, which makes 4th be able to play for 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Was 5th paying last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pay.
What's the participation fee for junior high?
It's the
It's
same
the
as high
same.
school.
It's the same as the high school.
That's what I mean though, 'cause it's like, it seems.
What's high school?
How much?
It'll be
Um,
70 or whatever.
It's all,
I don't remember what it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a few years.
And you
Yeah,
paid at the
I'll
beginning of the
know.
year and that covers all the sports?
yeah, it's like not, I thought it
But
was
then-
like barely
And
more.
then they also are required to purchase an activity
Yeah.
space, which is like
Okay.
$100 or $125 or something. I think it comes out to almost $200, or, yeah, almost $200 for them.
Do we have a number we could throw out if we feel like 70 is too high?
Well, if that's what the one thing I guess to consider is offsetting the cost of the officials a little bit too, so it's not a.
And
Actually, the
and
participation
bus
fee at
and
that
travel
age pays the coaches.
and coaches,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
probably a necessary charge. The one thing we talked about doing though with like families that have multiple students, right, you can end up paying a lot of money, is capping that at like $300 or something like that, so it's not a huge financial burden for.
Does the Angel Fund cover that for people who?
It does, and more so than the Angel Fund, a lot of those end up going to,
Eagle
The Eagle
Foundation
Foundation,
has the kids,
yeah.
cash for kids.
cause they approve a bunch of those at the end of the year, if people haven't paid.
Is that how it works? People just aren't able to pay and then someone,
So like, we do the same with like, we have a Angel, no, what's the other one? I always get these stupid.
The
Needy child.
The-
needy,
And we
we don't
changed-
call it that,
No,
we
I
changed the
changed the name of
names.
that.
that's good.
Student Resource Fund.
Good choice.
That one you can like pay for prescriptions and glasses and things
Yeah.
like that.
PE clothes.
Yeah, and then the angel fund, you can pay for, like, you can balance out your lunch accounts, like if they have overdue lunches, you can pay for those, different things like that. So there's ways to pay for those.
Yeah, they paid 70 last year,
Right,
so, I don't know, I guess we'll just leave it.
yeah.
Made no one complain last year, so.
Right, and then last thing on hers is under the field trips, she has the same thing, the building principal has the final say if a kid is able to go or not. Middle school, most of what Jordan did was condense it, cause it was pretty wordy.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
I don't
Well, and
like,
I could have done a lot more, but I'm like, I'll do it in a
I think
2-year.
we'd already condensed it.
yeah, it was
Right.
condensed quite a bit, Ashley did quite a bit too, but.
Well, I noticed there's a lot of copy and pasting of board policy, so you'll
Yes.
see I referenced it.
Yeah, and I don't wanna necessarily go through this word for word unless you want me to.
No.
I did have one thing, Jordan, that, I don't know where it's at, but it was talking about ineligibility.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on page 51, I guess. So it says that, at one place it says that you'll have till 4 PM Wednesday of that week to become eligible, but then later it says the ineligibility
Wednesday
list
morning.
for Wednesday morning.
Cause they changed that, cause it
Yep,
used to
so
come out
the
Monday.
bottom is the proposed one.
But they're, oh, I see, so you'd get rid of this section.
Yeah, the
and
top
Yeah.
part that has
that
lines
section.
through it is what existing is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I basically matched the high school.
Okay,
Which is good.
I was reading it as
Two
they were
different-
all the same thing,
Yes,
not
I
two
tried to
separate
make it
things.
not confusing.
No, that was the only one I was confused on, so great.
Okay.
So previously, the middle school was different than the high school, and it was a little bit more strict. Quite a bit more strict, actually, so we're just trying to get it to match.
So
the
now
high
they have
school's.
until Wednesday.
I think I bumped that up only because when you have it at 4 o'clock, I was making calls until like 5:30 at night.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't necessarily relay it to the coaches in time for them to make the appropriate changes, especially like track, they had to submit their events ahead of time, so
Right.
that kinda gave me a little more of the day to work with.
So
In
then
high
those,
school, I think the high school cutoff is in the morning too.
okay.
Yeah, cause it used to be, that list would come out Monday, so you'd already know, and then the kids would have till Wednesday to get the grade up or whatever, but now it's just Wednesday's the
One
time.
time deal.
And they offer a little bit of flexibility with that, like if
Yeah.
the teacher's working with them to try to get grades in, you know, it's not like it's a hard deadline
Yeah.
of, sorry, you missed it.
Yeah.
So, okay, since we don't have the high school, any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so recommendation, I recommend to approve the suggested changes for each school handbook as discussed and provided above for the 26-27 school year.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we try to not work backwards like this next one, so on page 53, our track numbers, so I asked Stacy to submit me numbers and rationale for hiring a coach. That's a program, and I get it, like, it's very specialized, it's very technique oriented, so you need people that understand that in many different areas. But it can get to a situation where you got a coach for every kid too, so we have to make sure that we're not going overboard. Track numbers exceeded 70 participants this year. Danny Coryell resigned last year, which is why I'm recommending this. We didn't rehire for him. So Jay Schellinger was recommended to be hired to replace that position. I would say with the strong numbers, to me, I would recommend to approve the hire of Jay Schellinger as an assistant track coach for the 25-26 school year, so he would actually get paid for what he did this last year.
What if we say no?
Then he doesn't get paid.
I'm just kidding.
What if we have 50 kids go out this next year?
Then you should be, like, your AD should be looking at that and saying, and telling your head coach, hey, your numbers are not where they're supposed to be, so who do you wanna get rid of?
Oh, they'll cut one then
Yeah.
next year.
I'm trying to think. I mean, this has kind of been the numbers that we've had for high school track for years.
Yeah.
They haven't really upped it. Middle school is up, but not the high school. Cause you kinda, you know, you got someone for jumps, someone for different throws.
Sprints,
someone for
distance.
sprints, you know, you got sprints, distance, so it's,
Pole
numbers,
vault.
yeah,
Pole vault.
the number's kinda what it is. You know, and luckily for us in those more specialized, we usually have several people, you know, like pole vault, we don't just have one kid. You know, so it's not a
Right.
one-to-one.
Right.
But yeah, no, no, the coaches, as someone who usually criticizes how many coaches we have, as the one guy that always points it out, I would say this is probably legit, just, I mean, the numbers are up, but it is how many we've had.
Yeah,
Since I was in school.
If Danny wouldn't have resigned, I would've told her no.
Yeah.
But given that that was the case, and that's normally how many we carry, I think it's only fair to do that.
Yep.
So did he worked as a coach this year or without, just as a volunteer?
We have some volunteers. He volunteered the year before, but since Danny left, he.
Yeah, essentially, he just showed up and now we're saying, oh, I guess we should have paid him.
Sure.
Oops. So, do I have a motion?
I will move.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, spring coaching renewals, typically they're not, like, this is a really fast turnaround for a season to be done and to have these, but they always do these for the spring because it makes the most sense. So I gave you a list of all of the assistant coaches for the spring. And head coaches, sorry, so they're both listed on there. That way, if we approve to renew them, we'll also approve the assistant coaches, so we can get those contracts out as well. So that's the list of all coaches for the spring.
54 and 57 don't match up.
54 and 57.
B. Morales is on 57, I'm on 54. For middle school.
Oh.
When's winter? Oh, that's.
No, it's for the spring.
That's 58.
B. Morales is not on there.
She's on 57, but she's not listed on 54.
I
We
think
gotta
she
have
coached this
Roger,
year.
she didn't, and we gotta have Roger off.
And Roger has to be removed as well. So,
Okay.
let's cross her off and then also cross Roger off because we cannot have, since he's retired, we can't have preemptive employment with him going into that next school year.
Okay.
Okay.
So just so we know, the way that we do this is normally we rehire the head coach, or don't, whichever way we go. Then the next meeting was when we do the assistants. But obviously with spring being done, we do them both at the same
Yeah.
time. But the reason we do that is if we choose not to renew the head coach, then it gives the incoming head coach the chance to hire whoever they want as their staff. Whether they, basically all the jobs will be open to the public, so anyone can hire, or they can make adjustments. So if they've got a coach at the middle school they wanna pull up, or vice versa, send a high school coach down, that they have that freedom to do it. So that's why we do it the way we're doing it, and why we're doing, if he's, when he goes through it, we'll talk about the head coach, and then if approved, we'll rehire the assistants. But usually we just do the head coach, and then the next meeting we do the assistants. It's just, this
Yeah.
month is always this way, just so we can get moving
Yeah.
for the next year.
And as a head coach, I really like that because it gives me a chance to evaluate the other programs and decide if I wanna make any changes. Typically, you're gonna have more information about this. Ashley is at her summer meetings, so she was not able to come tonight. Normally you'll get like participation, records, just overall kinda how it did.
And she usually sends out like a survey to the
Yep.
student athletes.
Do you see those surveys?
She's just talked about them.
Yeah, we used to, then we quit, 'cause
Yeah.
it's kind of a waste of time.
Yep. Okay, so I have basically the exact same thing on all, however many of them. I'm gonna read it once and then I'll give you my recommendations after that. So each year, the Sidney Activity Director has 2 formal meetings, preseason and postseason, with the varsity coach in each activity offered by Sidney Public Schools. The preseason meetings are held to discuss goals and expectations for the upcoming season, and the postseason meeting is held to discuss the goals from the first meeting and the off-season plan for each activity. These meetings lay out plans for improving the program and what potential changes will be implemented in order to move the program in a direction that will be positive for all students participating. Along with these meetings, a yearly evaluation of each varsity coach is conducted to determine the desires of the district for each program. A printout of this evaluation tool has been included. I apologize, I did not include a printout of this. If you would like that, I can email it to you. Recommendation, based upon the recommendation from Ashley Koppel in the evaluation process, I recommend the rehire of Hunter Gordon for the 26-27 baseball season.
Or you skipped it.
Oh, did I skip the baseball? Sorry, I'm on page 55, my bad.
Okay, no, I think I.
We skipped it.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yep, we're good. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the rehire of Hunter Gordon?
I move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Did you get those, Nikki? Did you get the first one? I did. Who?
Baseball?
No, who was the
Oh,
first?
Sarah.
Oh,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Aaron. No, Aaron was the second.
I was the second.
Oh dear. You guys have to speak up, because it's
Yeah.
really hard to.
Okay.
Too many.
Too many
female voices.
women
don't
on
say
this.
that.
I said female
Not in-
voices.
not in a meeting.
She's the one that said too many
I did.
women.
She's close enough to.
I
get
said
it.
female voices.
Tracy started this, really. She's not here to defend herself,
She
we'll blame
did
her.
try.
Okay, based upon the recommendation from Ashley and the evaluation process, I recommend the rehire of Teresa Edwards as head coach.
Are we gonna do the
Oh,
baseball?
sorry, jeez, my God, after I
Assistants.
explained all that. Sorry, moving back to baseball. I also recommend to approve the rehire of all listed assistant high school and, they don't have middle school, high school coaches for the 26-27 school year.
Do I have a motion? I'll move. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to softball. Based upon the recommendation from Ashley Koppel and the evaluation process, I recommend the rehire of Teresa Edwards as head coach for the 26-27 softball season.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Josh got in there.
Do I have a second?
Well, I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
It's not a competition, Amy.
Everything in competition, that's just a good.
All right, recommendation, to approve the, I recommend to approve the rehire of all listed assistant high school coaches for the 26-27.
Do I have a motion?
I'll
Do I have a
move.
second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So this list on 58, did Brad Fulber, he did, I don't think he did elementary
He did
boys.
middle school, but he's transferring, I think, to elementary.
Oh, gotcha.
We're not there yet. We still gotta do track.
Yep, on track. Based upon the recommendation from Ashley Koppel and the evaluation process, I recommend the rehire of Stacy Collins for the 26-27 track season.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Aaron, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
This is an energetic group. Okay, and then I recommend to approve the rehire of all listed assistant high school and middle school coaches for the 26-27 track season.
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so on here, and like middle school basketball for girls and elementary is not listed because we just approved those earlier. So this is a list of all of your sub-varsity, winter activity coaches.
So Brad's gonna do elementary.
Yes, so that'll open up the middle
Steven will also do elementary, but that will be like, the sixth graders are gonna
It'll
play
be
with the
fourth
seventh
grade.
graders.
It'll be fourth grade.
Fourth and fifth grade will play
So more than
together.
likely what'll happen is Steven will move up to the middle school.
Yeah, right.
But they can make those transfers, like those are, Tom can end up making those transfers at board meetings if he needs to, because they're already hired in the system.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the rehire of all winter coaches for the 26-27 season, I've provided a list of assistant coaches for all other assistant coaches and sub-varsity coaches. Recommend to approve the list of sub-varsity coaches for the 26-27 school year.
Do you have a motion?
I'll move.
I have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm gonna recommend to move the school site contract to a later meeting in June, just because I didn't get that contract, and I wanna review it to make sure nothing changed in it.
Did you have any feedback about that, arrangement? It worked well, even though?
I mean, as far as the logistics in terms of her getting here and whatever, Michelle evaluated her and went through, whatever she needed to, but, yeah, it worked fine.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate in the ones that we've taken out of town that they worked out for us. Starting on page 61, this is gonna be it's an MOU with, Chanel Otta. She does some speech work for us in the fall and spring. If you, let me see what I wrote in here first. I'll just read what I have here. Due to the significantly large number of speech IEPs in the district, we would again like to contract with another local speech path to assist our current speech pathologist with managing the needs of the students. This person will be utilized to assist with writing IEPs and grouping students according to their needs. These services are typically needed at the beginning and end of the year. Once the majority of testing and grouping is complete, we won't need these services until we do more testing at the end of the year. So I recommend to approve the terms of the MOU with Chanel Auto for services as needed for the 26-27 school year. Nothing changed in that one.
Do I have a motion? All those, do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Board policies. Most of these are very minor, so I'll go through what I have on page 65. This is what I got from MTSBA, their recommendations and why they're making changes to these policies. There's nothing earth-shattering here. The only one that I did not do anything with was policy, I don't think I did 3110. Because, I'll give you a quick history on that one, and then we'll get through these. Well, if I did, I did. When we get to it, I'll explain why. Okay, so model policy 2050, innovative student instruction. If you look through this, anything that's struck, obviously they're removing, and anything that is in red, I don't love that they put it in red, but that is what's going to be added to the board policy. So starting on page 67, you can see the amendments to this model policy are intended to make grammatical corrections and improve clarity and organization. There are also amendments in the rural elementary manuals to eliminate high school specific language. This one has some stuff on remote instruction, which means that a student can work outside of school, and their ability to, no, that comes with a later policy. Like I said though, it was really just to clean up some grammatical mistakes that they made. So I don't think that we necessarily need to go through that one in great detail.
Nope.
Policy 2100, that's school calendar day. So this basically is saying that you can add additional PIR days to the calendar, but you can't use them to make up for A and B time. So like you can't use it for your calendar day, so to count towards your student minutes in the calendar. So they have to get 1,080 minutes. You can't create a PIR day to make up for that time, because PIR is only teachers. Which makes sense, they didn't have it in before, but I'm sure somebody tried to pull that and got caught. 2151, interscholastic activities. This is really simple, it's just amending the one section saying that parents assume all risks to they are aware of the risks inherent in participation in interscholastic activities. We are probably now open to liability issues. Thank you for that, state. Entrance, yes, so I don't have 2161. So this one removed just the language of the 22nd birthday or until their eligibility for special ed services, and just added in or promotion from 8th grade to high school, whichever occurs sooner. They add that language back in to a different section.
So, can you explain a little bit more? Cause wasn't that a new addition, the 22nd
It's
birthday?
in a different policy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So basically what the new policy, it used to be, you could graduate students based on their IEP. So you could put goals in the IEP and they would get a high school diploma based off of that, regardless of whether they met the state standards or not. You can't do that anymore. So you have to keep that student, if they're eligible for an IEP, you have to keep them until the age of 22 if they want you to. So, and then they still have to get those standards completed to get a actual diploma. That changed. That was last year though. Compulsory attendance, they just took out the first paragraph. It was really wordy and unnecessary. And that's what he has. So the amendment to this policy reduces unnecessary verbiage for the purposes of brevity and clarity. Okay, 3225. This is sexual harassment of students. So the amendment to this model policy eliminates the requirement that a copy of the written determination must be provided within 60 days of receipt of the complaint. The deadline is not required by law and in many cases is not possible to meet, and that is very accurate. So that's a good change, I think, so you're not under such strict guidelines. You'd think 60 days seems like a long time, but when you're doing sexual harassment or Title IX investigations, it can drag out forever. 3231, searches and seizures. So the amendment to this policy eliminates the language referring to pat-down searches of students by district personnel. Holy cow, took them forever to get that out of there. Basically what it's saying is instead of that, you can request a student, and the other language that's in here, and it's necessary, if you're going to search a student, it has to be the person of the same gender. You can ask them, say, to take off their coat, and then you can check their pockets that way, and you can ask them to empty their pockets out. So you can ask them to take off certain things, but pat down is no longer in there, so good deal. 3600. So the amendment to this policy provides clarification regarding access to records of release of student information by other persons authorized under federal law for auditing purposes. I wanna say under that law, it was so the military could contact schools to get student information. That's what that ended up being, right? And we changed that. So they have the ability to do that if they want. Policy 5012P, sexual harassment. The amendment to this policy, same thing. So you don't have the 60-day shackles that they had before. Um, 5120, hiring process. Okay, don't worry about the options in this, because what they did is they went back to the policy that we had to go all the way through and adopt every option. We're leaving all the options that we had previously. The only thing that they added in really that would make any change is the amendment to this policy clarifies that criminal history documentation must be maintained by the district for a period of 2 years under the EEOC requirements. That's the only thing that will change in ours. So everything else is gonna stay the same. Sick and bereavement leave. Okay, there's 2 of them that I didn't add, maybe 3. I didn't add 5322, 50. For sure I didn't add 5323 and 5324. Personal and emergency leave, and the civic duty one was put into this one anyway, this top one. So we just bargained. Like, I don't wanna mess with language and have it in policy and have it different in our master agreement. Like, that's gonna cause issues. And I get, like, I believe the master agreement actually trumps this, but there's no reason to have any confusing language in those. So, 5321, they just scrapped that whole bottom part. They do get into some things up at the top where they talk about immediate family is defined as a student as an employee's spouse and any member of the employee's household or any parent, child, grandparent. I don't necessarily love this one. So I don't think we should adopt this policy because of the language that we put into the master agreement. It's gonna be really similar, but this adds more people to the immediate family than what we have listed for their new bereavement leave.
Our old policy, I thought, was changed at one time to include brothers and sisters.
Right, and I think that that's the language we have with our new master agreement. Like I said, I don't wanna mess with the language because we're gonna get into a war over bereavement leave when we gave them a pretty good, I thought a fairly good deal on that. Military leave, this is a requirement, so the section that they have in there about military leave, they can return to work, it's all the rights that they have if they're deployed or something comes up of that nature. Any questions? That's all, and like I said, I didn't include the other leave ones because I didn't wanna mess with wording.
Did we talk about 3110?
No, he purposely left that one.
Okay, so 3110, this is stemming back from when we adopted the K1, the half-day kindergarten program. we kept wording in that to give the school the authority to run that program the way we want. And it gave us the ability to take the testing that we had and use that to place students. If you go by what they're wanting you to put in that, all of that power goes just to the parents solely, which I get it, like we wanna make sure the parents are making decisions, but at the same time, when it comes to placement, we feel that we wanna rely on our experts to make those decisions for what's best for the kid too. So that's why I never really messed with that policy much. And now that our strategic plan is in place, we can use that for the placement as well. Okay. So first reading, and again, we only need one reading now. So, in accordance with board policy 1310, the final vote for adoption of change lists, I'm not even gonna read that. Used to be first reading, you went through them, then you had to have a second reading at the next board meeting. We voted last year to only have one reading, which the state allows us to do. So I recommend to approve the first reading of the policies and agreed upon options as presented above.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Okay, and then I just included resignation letters in the last 3 pages.
I have a question about that actually. Reading Marie's letter, what's the, I put in my questionnaire that one of my biggest things is, keeping teachers, and finding good teachers.
Mhm.
So, the first thing when I read this, I'm not talking about our specific case, but, we lost a longtime teacher. Is there any kind of process where we say like, okay, what were her concerns? Was there anything we could change? Did we, you know what I'm saying? Did
Yeah,
we do
Like
anything
an
wrong?
like an
We
exit
do,
interview.
we have
I don't-
exit, like we'll do
I
exit
don't know the whole
interviews with
situation,
them.
and that's not what I'm asking, but, just from a perspective of like, we lost a longtime teacher, I know we're not replacing it, but just in general,
Mhm.
keeping teachers that have been here a long time, keeping good teachers,
Right.
do they have concerns, were their concerns valid? I came in at the last moment, so I just heard there's, standards last week,
Yeah.
or last month.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, they have valid concerns,
Mhm.
they do, like, I will never dispute that in terms of the meetings that I had. The decision that I made for that though was what I felt was best for students. And I can't really get into much more detail
Yeah.
than that, but, I don't love making those decisions. It's another reason why this is my last meeting, but I did make the decision because I felt it was what's best for kids moving forward.
Is-
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, is there an exit interview process?
There is.
That the principals do, or you do, or?
Lauren Barnhart does it.
Okay.
So they'll come in here and then they have the ability to,
Will we see any of that? Do we?
I think
You
it
know,
goes
just-
into their file, doesn't it? Doesn't
I
it?
honestly don't know.
I think we put it into their file.
Okay.
Then can we look at trends, or does anybody like examine that?
To be fair, we haven't had a lot of people.
Yeah,
No,
and like I said, I'm
Yeah.
just seeing this for the first time.
yeah,
We don't lose a lot of teachers. The teachers we generally lose are younger,
Moving.
they came here, they moved, or, decided to choose a different career, stuff like that.
so it's really stabilized since,
Since
the
I got
oil
on
boom
board.
slowed down. Cause we were losing teachers left and right then, like my first couple years as a principal,
Yeah.
was like you're constantly hiring and it's really stabilized. Unfortunately, like every once in a while you get dealt a situation like, and you just have to make a decision.
Is there any communication with the teachers before you do it, or is it just done?
You also have to be a little careful in how you communicate with people in that regard too. So like, this is the other thing that really sucks about education. If we have a classified employee that, let's say their supervisor doesn't think that they're doing anything up to par, and they're past, like, we basically have to fire them without cause, and we can't tell them why, or they can sue us for defamation of character or for wrongful dismissal. So it's a really bad process, and it's one that you have to follow it. Like, it sucks, but it's how it ends up going.
What about the position at the middle school we were gonna hire for? Has that started?
For which one?
DC.
This one?
Yes.
Oh, the assistant principal?
Mhm.
Well, Jordan and Tom and I will start working on that.
Okay. Will Jordan be involved?
100%. We're kind of waiting to finalize the job description, is the big thing.
Do you feel like you need a VP?
What?
Do you feel like you need one?
Yeah.
Oh. That's good to hear.
Something.
Huh?
Something,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And we've tried to, so we've put certain things in place to try to help offset like that burden. And we've called them like behavior specialists, and it just, it's never a great, I don't wanna say too much, but
Yeah.
sometimes you have, it's a difficult, at times, working relationship when you have a administrator working with a union member and an administrative type role, but they're not being seen as an administrator.
Mhm.
So we really need to probably make that an administration role. Just to,
Are the other VPs administration roles, right?
they are.
But the
Oh.
behavioral specialist was.
Oh, I see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
so,
Okay,
yeah, that was started like
Okay.
literally 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably
Was it
14.
with Ray Ann?
Yeah, so I just know because it was when Sawyer was a sixth grader. There were some, some kids that were struggling, and so she kind of took them, created something, and then I think the next year was like the official start of that position. So in essence, they were doing the job of an assistant principal, but they weren't an administrator, and so there's limitations to what they can do, what they can't, their schedule, all that type of thing, where like the administrators work longer, they're part of the process longer. So we did that, and actually we took a hit every year we had it, because we had nowhere in our structure to have that position. So technically on accreditation, we were outside of accreditation because that position shouldn't have existed anyways, because it was a full-time paid teacher that wasn't teaching class. They were
The
just.
state didn't recognize it.
Yeah, so, it's one of those things that we've had it forever. We didn't replace it this year, correct?
Right.
Right.
When we brought her in, we chose not to fill that role, just for this year, to kind of discuss what we were gonna do going forward. So, we probably would have replaced it anyways, so now it's just like, take the leap of making it an official position that will meet accreditation and also have all the powers really necessary, for that role. Cause they were essentially doing, dealing with the punishments and things like that, so it's.
Right.
And you mentioned it would have maybe a curriculum component, is that because it's not a full-time role, so that
Well, I don't, I mean,
something added to it, or?
it really is gonna depend on how we wanna structure it. The reason that position has failed to some degree too, is because it has to be tailored to who the principal is. Like, we have to know, like, what do you need help with, and then we can create a job description that really helps them out. And it just hasn't been that way when we've done it before. So now, that's the part for me, I wanna make sure that we get it tailored to what Jordan wants, and we find the right person for the position that way. But I think it'll be a good thing, I just worry about how late we're getting into
Yeah,
this.
Mhm. And so that person needs to have all their accreditations for admin.
I think we need to make it an admin role. Now, one thing to keep in mind with that, our budgets are bad. So we'll probably do a reduced contract days, and not pay full family health. Like, I think moving forward as a district, you're gonna have to just, your grandfather in, whoever has that, and as you start hiring administrators, I would not offer that. And it's a great benefit, and when we set it up, the district was probably paying like $13,000 a year. But now you're paying closer to $50,000 a year just for that benefit, so the budgets just don't line up.
And we take a hit on that every year too, cause we're not supposed to do that.
Right. We do. That's just my recommendations. I'm not making that decision.
do the surrounding school districts, Fairview, Lambert, some of the smaller ones, do they offer that benefit?
Some do and some don't. You're starting to see where schools are going away from it though.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag.
For the health insurance?
Yeah, cause even, we gathered some information about superintendents, and it was kind of across
All
the
over
board.
the board.
Yeah, some people just take money, just a
Stipend.
cash stipend. some do the insurance, some, you know, cause some places you get a house if you're a superintendent, it's all over the place. It just kinda,
Yeah.
it's district by district and what the districts can afford.
Tom, are you getting a house?
Gonna have to move to Culverton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Lambert. I think
Yeah,
Lambert has
Culverton
it,
or
so.
Lambert, but yeah, it's varied across the state, and then, like I said, technically, we get, on our audit, we get hit every year that we're not supposed to do it. And every time we're gonna hire an administrator for the last, you know, since I've been on the board, they encourage us not to give them the help, and we always have.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's something that, I mean, I was gonna bring up if we hired an external superintendent anyways, just to kind of start the process. You know, it's something we're gonna have to do, we just have to, cause otherwise, you run the risk, right? Because if you give them a cash value of some sort, then if our health insurance goes down, we might be paying more, but traditionally, health insurance
It's
never
not
goes
going
down. So, I mean, we're in the new program, so we have a chance of it going
Right,
down.
we
for
do,
the next few
actually.
years.
You're saying there's a chance.
The way that it's, the program is
Yeah.
set up, like, you actually do have a chance for
Yeah.
it to go down. It's just the way that our district is operated, traditionally, it's probably not going
Yeah,
to.
so it's, I mean, you run that risk, but our chances of giving them a 2 or 3% raise on a stipend is better than what health insurance rates have gone up, the last few years, so. So, yeah, it's something, we'll have to figure out the numbers, cause there's some other stuff that goes into the admin pay versus teacher pay too, so, it's all stuff that I brought up. So, yep, we'll look at it. Anything else?
I do have, last meeting, David asked about the Bridger pipeline. I visited with the superintendent from Ecolak, he said their school district does not get any money from the pipeline, it all goes to Carter County, and if they want any of the money from that, they have to create a proposal, present it to the county board, and ask for the funding to supplement that.
I wish we had known that before we voted for commissioner.
Yeah.
No, it goes to Carter County, and Carter County then decides from there, based upon proposals, where that money's gonna go.
So our county commissioners, they'll do that too here, you think?
I don't know how it's set up as it comes to Richland, but he said they don't get any direct, this year they needed $89,000 per project, and they had to put the proposal together, go to the board meeting, county board meeting, give the proposal, and wait for them to decide if they were going to fund it or not.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's different, it's kinda like saltwater disposals versus oil. Cause it's gonna be essentially surface rights, not mineral rights, so I'm sure that's most of it.
Thank you for looking into that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the great news, Tom.
Great.
Good start.
Yeah, way to go.
Well, now I know.
Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, when's our next meeting?
Oh. How about Tom and I talk and we'll send out an email? How busy are we, like? My
Don't
summer
ask
is
that,
crazy.
just schedule it.
My color-coded
I
calendar.
agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I know.
OCD. What about the week of the 22nd through the 26th?
I'm not gonna be here the 25th or 26th, but the beginning of the week is okay.
I'll be here the 22nd, if we do a Monday again.
Okay, and it's honestly should only be like maybe a 5.
At 5:30 again?
22nd?
10 minutes.
5:30? Yep.
22nd.
Go pencil it.
I think what's me, Tom's probably gonna run that one just so he can get used to
When's the official transfer?
June 30th is my last day.
Yep, no, yeah, whatever, and I mean, we've got call in too, so if you need people, I might be driving back from Denver, but
Okay.
that'll be
Cause
perfect.
we've even done them like over lunch breaks.
Yep.
If they're really short, and you can just call it if you want.
Yep. No, I'm good with it. Anything else?